Typhoon Mangkhut leaves a trail of destruction around town. Heavy flooding at Hang Fa Chun and other neighborhoods. And all schools in Hong Kong will suspend classes tomorrow.
Good evening. Hong Kong experienced its biggest storm so far this year. The hurricane signal number 10 has been in effect for almost 10 hours now. The observatory says it will consider replacing the number 10 signal with the number 8 southeast gale or storm signal in the next couple of hours. At 7 p.m, severe Typhoon Mangkhut was centered about 200 kilometers west of Hong Kong. It is forecast to move west-northwest at about 30 kilometers per hour into the inland area of western Guangdong. Mangkhut is departing Hong Kong gradually and local winds are weakening. However, destructive southeasterly winds are still affecting parts of the territory at first. And the Education Bureau announced classes at all schools in the city will be suspended tomorrow.
We now take you to a housing estate in the Eastern District that was severely battered in the storm. Residents there tried but failed to keep the seaside estate dry. Pinky Wong reports.
Feel the force of Mangkhut. It inundated Hang Fa Chun's waterfront promenade. Flooded benches, uprooted trees, turned sidewalks into streams. Waves were so powerful that even those on the fourth floor didn't go unscathed. But how do residents on higher levels think of this storm?
This typhoon is much stronger because as you can see, the whole of the road and the bus stops overfront, and I feel my house is a little bit shaking. As you can see, the clock is trembling.
Even when indoor, it's not always easy to keep things dry. The flat owners has placed newspapers and multiple towels to prevent water from seeping in from the balcony. Water levels rose quickly throughout the day. Rescue teams found themselves having to walk in high waters through the severely flooded site. Strong gusts of wind, high waves, and backflow of seawater also made reporting on the ground level difficult. Despite measures to stop seawater from flowing into the underground car park, which was completely submerged during another typhoon last year, things don't seem to look any better this time.
As you can see, our Pinky Wong has been battling floodwaters all day in Hang Fa Chun. Pinky, how are things looking at your end now?
Hi Sonia, I'm still in Hang Fa Chun. Right now, wind is much weaker and water level lowered. Officials have deployed staff to drain out flooded water. But you can still see many trees uprooted near me. Some residents I spoke to earlier said they no longer have television signals, but they still have internet connection. It is also said that over 5 buildings are losing power supply, and they also don't have water. District councillor told us that maintenance staff have been evacuated, so it is still uncertain when will the affected residents get electricity and water. That's all I have right here. Back to you in the studio.
All right, again, that was Pinky Wong. Thank you for that report. Staying at home wasn't much of a choice for those in low-lying areas. Residents in flood-prone Lei Yue Moon were evacuated with police assistance. Christy Lung with details.
Waves crashing on the shoreline of Lei Yue Moon. The place was severely flooded when Typhoon Hato hit last year. The local Tin Hau Temple by the sea couldn't escape from the storm surge. The weather was so bad that at one point, reporters were asked to leave with ropes and hooks being used as safety measures along the way. Staying indoor isn't always safe, as the shelter may be exposed under the stormy weather. Firefighters were deployed to the scene to evacuate residents. They took with them a rubber dinghy just in case. Heavy rain and storm surge caused the water level at Tolong Harbour to rise to 4.5 meters above chart data, as the Xingmun River in Shantung overflowed its banks. Heavy rain turned Tai O into a swamp. Though wooden boards were put in place to block water, this grocery store was flooded. It was a similar story for the neighboring shop. The whole family spent most of the day trying to save their valuables. Dozens of elderly people were taken to a temporary shelter for safety reasons. Christy Leung, TVB News.
Mangkhut has affected electricity supplies at thousands of households and caused widespread damage in the city. Here's Kana Chu on why it might not be safe even if you're indoors.
Talk about an unobstructed view. Here's one on the 23rd floor of a flat at Lohas Park in Tseung Kwan O. A couple found their master bedroom window shattered in the storm. The wife said it was lucky they were no longer in bed when the window broke not long after 8 a.m. Strong winds also ripped windows out of this waterfront building in Hung Hom and brought down the slab of concrete wall in Tai Kok Tsui. Look no further if you need evidence of Mangkhut's strength. The crane at a construction site collapsed. This rooftop storage house was just left hanging in between two units of a building on nearby Paul Kok Lane. Police sealed the surrounding area. No one has been sent to remove the structure, which was apparently set to be taken down 2 weeks ago but never happened. Here's an expert's view on building safety in Hong Kong.
All building elements in Hong Kong have to withstand the wind pressure as specified in the Hong Kong info. And this time, typhoon has not actually exceeded the code requirement. The shattering of the window actually is a little bit complicated in technical terms due to some unknowing effect. It depends on the cases. I think that need to be investigated.
As winds picked up, the number of reports of fallen trees jumped. In Wan Chai, this section of Gloucester Road looked more like an obstacle race. That's after multiple trees toppled on a normally congested road. In Kowloon Bay, firemen were called in to cut a fallen tree into chunks for easy removal. Traffic was also affected after fallen timber forced all southbound lanes on Lion Rock Tunnel Road to close earlier today. Kana Chu, TVB News.
The MTR Corporation has announced that East Rail and Light Rail transit services will be suspended for the rest of the evening due to damage caused by the storm. A total of 889 flights were cancelled today. Local airlines plan to gradually resume operations tomorrow. Some flights will inevitably be affected even after the departure of the typhoon.
Even though Hong Kong O may lower the signal after the lifting of the typhoon from Hong Kong, we believe that unstable weather will last for 1 to 2 days. So passengers have to check the status with the airline, confirm the seat before they proceed to the airport.
Mangkhut has also battered Macau. The city was flooded so much that you could speed through the enclave's narrow streets on a water motorcycle. Low-lying areas saw floodwaters of up to 2.5 meters. All casinos and schools have been ordered closed. Most government departments also ceased operations. And this just in, the observatory replaced the number 10 tropical cyclone signal with the number 8 southeast gale or storm signal at 7:40 p.m. Now we're turning to the United States. Tropical Storm Florence continues to drop epic amounts of rain on North and South Carolina. The death toll has risen to at least 11. Power has been knocked out to hundreds of thousands of homes, and floodwaters, they continue to rise. Alan Booknia reports.
Florence's intensity has diminished since hitting landfall Friday as it continues its slow march over 2 states, crawling at about just 5 kilometers per hour. After buckling trees and buildings with winds of up to 150 kilometers per hour, Florence is now bringing its double whammy. With up to 60 centimeters of rain having fallen in some places already, rivers were swelling to record levels, and residents were ordered to evacuate, as the next few days could bring the most destructive round of flooding in North Carolina history.
More people now face imminent threat than when the storm was just offshore. I cannot overstate it. Flood waters are rising, and if you aren't watching for them, you are risking your life.
Volunteers with boats had to rescue hundreds who ignored the evacuation warnings.
Yeah, the water's moving pretty good right here, so it's pretty dangerous to take a vehicle over this. You could actually sweep a vehicle away with only 2 feet of water.
They did awesome. If not, we'd be stuck upstairs for the next how long, I have no idea. But I'm very grateful, and I thank every one of them for their service.
This couple did spend the night in a shelter, but came back to inspect the damage to their house.
This morning I got up and I said, I'm getting back to the house. And we walked this thing chest deep, holding hands out in the middle of this road, and we made it to the house.
We're going to have to redo the whole inside.
About 676,000 homes and businesses are without power in North Carolina, and another 120,000 in South Carolina. Authorities also warn of further risks of landslides, tornadoes, and flash floods. Alan Bucknia, TVB News.
And still to come on tonight's main news. Pope Francis tells Sicily's mafia to abandon lives of crime and violence. And a Pussy Riot member to be treated in Germany after suddenly falling ill in Moscow.
Welcome to our lounge. Enjoy your stay.
Thanks very much.
Find calm in over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. It's another way we've got your back. The Platinum Card from American Express. Don't live life without it.
Welcome back. In Sicily, Pope Francis urged members of the mafia to give up a life of crime. The pontiff's plea came on the 25th anniversary of the killing of a priest who tried to shield youth from the mob. Peter Corveos has that story.
The Pope was greeted warmly by the Catholic faithful in Sicily. Francis spoke to the thousands in attendance, said a life in crime is no life at all.
Il nome di Dio amore.
A mafioso does not live as a Christian because he blasphemes with his life the name of God and love. During his address, the pontiff also said there is nothing more honorable than a life given to God.
E di donne di amore.
We need men and women of love, not men and women of honor. Men and women of service, not oppression. The Pope's visit coincides with the anniversary of Father Giuseppe Puglisi's killing. 25 years ago, the priest was shot outside his home. The pontiff met members of the late priest's family. This region of Italy has strong ties to the mafia, and the priest challenged the mob's rule over a rough neighborhood in Palermo. Puglisi has since been declared a martyr by the Vatican. The Pope's visit comes as the Vatican deals with its own problems. Recent revelations of several sexual abuse cover-ups have tarnished the Catholic Church's reputation. Peter Corveos, TVB News.
An anti-Kremlin activist who lost his ability to see, hear, and walk in an alleged poisoning attack is now in a hospital in Berlin. Peter Verzilov, a member of Russia's Pussy Riot protest group, was flown to Berlin on a special medical transport plane. A band member said he's feeling better since getting treatment. He was hospitalized in Moscow on Tuesday after falling ill in what the band members call a politically motivated poisoning. Verzilov and 3 other Pussy Riot members were jailed for 15 days. That punishment came after they ran onto a field in Moscow where the World Cup soccer game was being played in July.
Texas police arrested a border control agent suspected of killing 4 women and kidnapping a 5th. Police said Juan David Ortiz went on a 2-week killing spree that left 4 female sex workers dead. It ended when a fifth woman escaped at a gas station and found help. They tracked Ortiz down in a parking lot in Laredo. Investigators are still trying to determine a motive for the murders and believe Ortiz acted alone. He was an intelligence supervisor and 10-year veteran of the U.S. Customs and Border Protection.
And that is a wrap of our news, but from all of us, stay safe, everyone.
Thanks for watching. Good night.